Hey, this is Professor Homa, and I'm just adding another quick video just to go over some font and color issues before we move on to the postcard. Remember, we're going to be taking this into a postcard, which will be the next part of our project, the part 2. We'll be working in Photoshop and doing image editing and masks and things like that. But for now, I just wanted to finish up this part of it because there were some kind of discoveries we made even during class with this logo. One of the discoveries, and I put it up on e-learning, and I put a link here, and I made it shorter. You could download the original from Buffalo Wild Wings or find it online, but I just made a short PDF I took out a lot of the extra pages. But if you click on this one in e-learning, the Buffalo Wild Wings style guide, they actually have a style guide online for the actual logo for Buffalo Wild Wings, which has all the specifics. Now, like I said, I took out a couple pages, but if I look through this here, one of the things I'll see is color. Here's color palette. One of the things it shows is that it uses a PMS 116C yellow. That's Pantone Matching System 116C means coded. And that's how it shows up on coded stock because they use coded stock for postcards. So that would be something that we could use. Now, Pantone Matching colors, these are solid ink spot colors. And because we're going to use it on a postcard, it probably won't be a single color. We're probably going to use a CMYK color, meaning the color is going to be composed of a number of inks. And they even have down here, they even have the conversions. They show it in RGB, they show it in even web color, things like that. So this is very interesting. They have the Pantone 116, and then in 4-color process, it's basically 0 cyan, 16 magenta, 100 Y, which is the yellow, and 0 black. So we could use that for our CMYK color. And also notice they use 100K of black. It's not a mix of CMY, so it's just 100K of the black. And then also the gray, they actually mention a Pantone color here, but we're just going to use 60%. That's 60% of the K, which is just 60% black. So we're going to use that for the gray, which would be for the inside of the buffalo and for the text. So going back to that file, that would be, just to mention color, and I'll zoom in on this. Just to mention color, this part here, this yellow, now we could just sample it. We could just take the eyedropper. I could select this, and I did make 2 circles. I made a outer circle, and then I scaled it. After I made the outer circle, I used the scale tool. And I put in, I think it was 90%. I think I put in 90%, and you could preview it to see what it looks like. And there you can see it's making a copy that's 90%. And then I hit copy. Well, I'm not gonna do it right now, because I already did it, but that's how I made that. This inner circle is 90% size of the outer circle. And right now, I just made it a standard yellow. I just took it up here and I made it a standard yellow. Now, one thing you could do is take your eyedropper, and I'll zoom out, and you could put your eyedropper, and I made a copy of the image that's below the one we have, because I still have it below, but I made a copy. And you could just click your eyedropper over here and sample that color. Now that's fine, except it just samples the RGB color that we're kind of seeing on screen. It's not completely accurate. If I double click on this and look at the color makeup, you can see it's 1, 15, 100, and 0. Now it's pretty close to our PMS, or I mean to the 0, 16, so it's like 1% off. So it's pretty close, but we'll try to make it as exact as we can. So sometimes using that eyedropper isn't as accurate as you want to be. So we'll make sure that we adjust that as well. So what we could do here is we could go into our swatches. Now that color's not showing up in here. Now if this color's not showing up here, we want to add it to our swatches, and we could do that. I think we have to go up to here to color. We'll open up color, and even before I do anything, I'm going to put this down to 0. I'm going to put this to 16, and I'm going to put this up to 100. So that's actually the one that they specify on the style sheet, on the style guide for Buffalo Wild Wings. So 16 and 100, and the others are 0. And they do have an option here where you can, I think, create a new swatch from that. So I'll click on that, and there it is. And you could call it, whatever you want. I'll just leave it the way it is right now, and I'll use that swatch. And another thing you could do, if you go into your swatches, I'm going to double click on this, and I'm also going to make it global. That means if I make changes to the color, it'll update everything it has. Now this thing here, this color that's showing here, let me just show you this. This is, if I go to color, this is actually the Pantone 116. And what I'll do is I'm just going to actually delete it real quick just to show you how to bring that in. I'll hit delete. Okay, and I'll show you how we brought that in too. If we need to use a spot color, and we're not for this project, but we will for other projects, you can go to Window, and then all the way down to swatch libraries, and we do this in desktop publishing, color books, and then we look for Pantone Coded because it mentioned C on there, and C is for Coded. And then if you went in here, you could basically type in the 116, and then it should find that color, and if you click on it, it'll add that Pantone color. And again, that Pantone color is meant to be one solid ink. But since we're going to put it in with a postcard where we're going to have, it's going to go over top of photography, photographic images that have a lot of inks in them, we're going to mix it all up with the CMYK. So we don't necessarily have to have the Pantone. We could use this one, which is the 16, which will look very much the same. So that's all you have to do. Just make sure you have the 0, 16, 100, 0 for the CMYK for that. And then also for these, for all the black stuff that you have, make sure that you go to your black and it's 100% K black, that it doesn't have all these sliders mixed around. And that goes for all of this stuff. You could check it, and it looks like it is. It looks like it started off that way. And that's why when we work in CMYK, it does that. So everything else we have in here for black should have that. Even the grays, if I go on the gray, and I just look at my color slider over here, you can see it's just 60% K. So that's what you want, all these grays. Even my text down here is 60%, not 60% gray, it's 60% black, but it actually comes up with a gray color.